Cheers. Hello everyone. Guess what video we're doing today?
Woo!
Highly requested.
No way.
My kind of vlogcast style videos with Adele went down really well. You guys are clearly in some need of like big sister
Love
advice. Yes, and like I feel like there's no better person to sit down and do a love, relationships, sex type agony aunt than with Ruth. I feel like she's been such a key, if not the biggest part of kind of, I don't know, I feel like in our girl group you just brought such amazing divine feminine energy, and I don't think any of us even knew what that like was or how to use it or how to feel it, most importantly, before
That's so nice.
coming into the group. It's true though, like honestly, like she has that effect on people. It's like her magic power everywhere she goes. You just sprinkle a little bit of those like good feminine vibes. Like
That is so lovely and refreshing to hear
you're
in
welcome.
these unprecedented times. I'm like, yes!
Helpful and impactful for a lot of people out there who may not have girlfriends that they feel like they're comfortable talking with.
Yeah, because you actually forget about that sometimes.
You do.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that for like years.
Yeah.
The thing that I get asked about most when I'm with Ruth is like how free we seem and how just like in our power we seem, and I think we're even more like that when we're together, and obviously it's quite infectious when you hang around Ruth anyway, and I think
We don't give a beep.
we are going to be like being quite ourselves and probably cursing and being a little bit crude. Fantastic question. So we're going to hit some bigger topics and then do some like quick fire. First question, are you both in relationships now?
No.
An answer for the two of us. Yes.
Yeah.
First question, life lessons or things about yourself you learned from being in relationships. Take away.
I know what I don't want.
Yeah.
And I think I was so unaware
nice.
of that. I think I was kind of compromising the whole time, but there's a difference between compromising for a healthy relationship and then compromising because you're lonely or like that you want something so bad but it doesn't actually fit.
100%. I think you have higher tolerance for things.
Yeah.
Like when you've only in your first, second, third relationships, where I haven't had like a whole lot of relationships, but when you're inexperienced, you definitely tolerate a lot more.
Yeah. And it's situational as well. Like, you know, you're either in college and you're seeing someone and then you're in a relationship or you live close by each other. And then you kind of like, you just put up with a lot more because of those reasons.
Yeah.
But I think as you get older, you kind of realize that, no, hang on, like I really need to assess. That's why it takes so long, I think anyway. When you get older, you suss people out a lot more, and then you're like, will they fit in with my friend group? Will they fit in with, you know,
there's more criteria.
Yeah, and like I'm quite a family person. I'm like, is this person going to be, you know, be able to put up with my kind of like my relationship with my family and things like that. So it's all like situational.
Echo what you said is finding somebody, first of all, not tolerating as much, so knowing like what is acceptable and not acceptable.
And sorry, red flags from the get-go.
Yes, because when you're younger you definitely put like you don't even
have
see
red
the red flags.
Is it because we're so used to being treated so badly by past relationships or something?
I don't think it's that we're used to it. I think we're not conscious of it when we're going through it. We're just younger people, we're not as likely to share our experiences. And then we don't, like when we don't share our experiences, we can't really educate each other in what's acceptable and not acceptable. You don't always have to have the same interest, but I think from like a soul, like root level, finding someone that is aligned with like who you are as a person is probably the biggest lesson.
Like stand, so you can stand on your own 2 feet. You find someone who is also standing on their own 2 feet, and it's about two people. I think it's more so about two people wanting to make it work and like seeing the kind of the love flourish from that, rather than being like, you know, like I'm supposed to be with this person or that's a right fit for me, or like they're totally my type on paper. It's like that just doesn't really happen necessarily.
100%.
And sometimes I would say it's 50-50 it works out that way.
Like two independent people that love themselves and have respect for themselves coming together and choosing to be together, as opposed to being in this like thing where they can't live without each other.
Yeah,
and it's just like
like,
really
I need you.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, we like say those things when we're in love, and but like
but want is more than need, I think.
Yeah, I think knowing that you're choosing to be in a relationship and that you're okay outside of being in a relationship, something that I think Ruth will have great advice on. So I hope I don't put you on the spot with this now, but what would you recommend to someone to harness their feminine energy and sexuality? So first of all, let's explain our understandings of like feminine energy. It's not like being hyper female.
No.
It's about feminine energy. Men and women have
masculine and feminine.
We all have a mix. It's not like one or the other. And sometimes we're in one energy a lot more than the other. Feminine energy is like nurturing, it's loving, it's intimacy, it's emotion, it's vulnerability. And I think that just comes so naturally to you.
Yeah, so I would say my feminine energy, it does come from my mom, to be fair. Like, she's such a strong but soft individual. She's, she's reared me and my brother in such a way that it's like, she's always wanted us to be open. So nurturing. And I think it just all started from there. Like, she knew when I was small, like, I was never, it's not that I was never told no, but I was never like,
you were never told
it's not just like a quick, as you've experienced, it's not just something that's going to happen overnight.
Yeah, you can't just like dance and write in a journal and like, it magically happens.
Yeah, and even this whole journaling thing as well is confusing to me, because it is hard to read like self-care journal. It's like, what do you mean? So like for me, journaling is like, I have this like specific diary that I talk about a specific subject in, and then I'll like elaborate on that every like once a week or something, and then I'll like refer back to it, and that's like self-care for me, to be like, oh, like as in, I was
you're great at writing down your thoughts even if they're mental. Like sometimes Ruth just sends me like old diary entries and I'm like,
my notes
you're not
my notes on my phone.
But it's a beautiful thing to just express your emotions in like a safe little place. That's like, you're not actually projecting them onto anyone. You're just like, you're actually kind of giving yourself soothing. And I think that the different elements of divine feminine energy come, even though you said it was your mom that really nurtured it, I think it's something that's just innate in you anyway.
Spinach, eggs and kale. I honestly eat that every day and I'm like, oh my god, my body is so
feminine. A big one is kind of, I think, just being creative. Because like that's actually something that I've just put together too, like in my head, is that like a big part of like feminine energy is like feeling. And I feel like when you can feel properly, you can be creative, and whether it's like writing or dancing in the mirror by yourself with the music on, or creating art, or having vulnerable conversations with people.
I do think like dance is a huge thing for me. Music is a huge part of my life, as it is for you. But this may sound cliche coming on a YouTube thing, but if you actually find your jam, find what you're into, and then like own it, and also listen to an album from start to finish. Don't put it on shuffle. Do it song by song. That sometimes that could pass like 2 hours for me, and then I'll just like get inspired, and I'll just be like, oh my god, like I feel amazing after that. Find your thing and like do it and keep doing it.
Something that goes hand in hand with harnessing that kind of energy is confidence.
Oh yes, how could we forget?
Which is like, again, such a thing that you kind of have brought to our group and like shown us how to do it, because I think so often it's like quite a shameful thing to be proud or confident. I know Ruth like a long time, but it's only in recent years we were friends, but we live 5 minutes from each other. I would see you around town all the time, and you were just so tall and like carried yourself so well, and it was intimidating. And I used to just think like, oh my god, like this girl's probably not nice because she's like loves herself. Essentially,
I get this all the time, and it's actually so mean.
No, but it's like, it's actually the person, it's like at that time it would have been my insecurities. It has nothing to do with you. It's actually not the person being intimidating. It's you being intimidated. But
is it intimidating or is it intimidated?
Listen, but I think that confidence is actually what we all want. And it's just like, I think that you, in like fully believing in yourself, you just give off that energy of just like pure confidence, and it's so rare. And it's actually sad how rare it is that we've actually become like desensitized to it and we actually don't know how to access it that well.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. That's
You're
so
welcome.
lovely. I get this a lot. So my other best friend, we were actually in school together, but she was a year below me, and she's the exact same sentiment. She was like, you were so da 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 da. I was so intimidated by you, and I'm just like, it's gas, because you can be intimidated, and I feel it sometimes too. Like you can be intimidated by someone, and then you have to get to a point where I think we're at that stage in our lives now. It's like, this person isn't trying to intimidate you. It's just you're projecting
your
onto
own
them.
insecurities.
Yeah, exactly.
Slightly more, not quick fire, but like snappy, agony aunt vibe questions.
So just go into that pattern.
Yes. How important are looks? Do you find that good looking equals asshole / fuckboy most of the time?
Absolutely not. That's an awful thing to say about someone.
Well, yeah, obviously not. I mean, I guess it's a generalization, isn't it? Which can be dangerous, because I think there's plenty of good looking, really nice people out there.
But I would say no. Personally, I would say no.
And how important are looks?
Looks are, again, with the 50-50, which you're going to calculate to 100.
It's a
you
mix.
Smart girl. Actually, 50% looks for me, and then it's 50%
personality, gel.
with who can keep up with me.
Oh, 100%. I would say it's like 90% actually who can keep up with you. But yeah, I think this is a funny thing as well, because like my boyfriend now, which is weird to say. Oh, I've been painting for 3 days. There's paint in my hair, everywhere, in my ears, whatever. But yeah, like I'm obviously like only officially properly in a relationship kind of recently, and I wouldn't have said he was my type prior.
Yeah.
Like he is now, like I fancy him so much.
Yeah.
But like I knew him from like years back, never paid
You
any
had a
attention.
slow burn of a friendship that grew into something. Yeah.
And it was just like, it was so funny, because at the time all of my tarot card readings online were saying, because like that's how I learned how to do it, is just like listening to a lot of them. And like almost every single tarot reading, there's a specific deck. If anyone watched them, it's called like the Oracle something deck. It's like a reddy pinky deck, and there's a card in it that says this person may not be your usual type.
Oh, right.
And I was just like, what is going on here? And it kept coming up. And like, it was true, like he wouldn't have been my normal type, even though I know a lot of people would beg to disagree just because he has a beard. But that's coincidental. Okay, lots of men have beards these days.
She's addressed it. My boyfriend has a beard too.
It's normal. Attraction is the more important thing than looks.
But that's more powerful. This is a thing, going back to like relationships. It's like, what do you want from it? Like, do you want to actually spend the time like making sure the person is right for you, or do you want to just dive in because they look a certain way?
I actually know very little women who would pick looks over humor, personality, values.
I think it's like more of a
very few.
Yeah.
Like you cannot.
It's a guy thing. I don't know.
Yes,
men are visual creatures.
Men are visual creatures. It's just like it's like a scientific fact.
Yeah.
Whereas women are more.
They've more to lose. I was actually reading about this the other day. Women have more to lose when they're getting into a relationship in terms of primitive, like your body clock. Mm-hmm. So they assess things a lot more.
I think men will evaluate looks and not really place much emphasis on anything else.
Yeah.
So, especially like younger men or men that are not emotionally mature, and that's why I feel like you see a lot of relationships that aren't actually very aligned because they're kind of together for the wrong reasons. But women will weigh up more about like intimacy and affection and kind of the more emotional side as opposed to like looks. I feel like especially when you start getting into like your late 20s and you want a real genuine connection again with the body clock, it's just like an innate thing. You really want to find a partner, and I feel that looks become awfully less important. And like I said, I feel like attraction is different to how good looking someone is, because when you're attracted to someone you will see the beauty in them as a person, and I think every person is beautiful, but are they like a runaway model? No, maybe not. But I think that like if I was to, you know, obviously I think as women we admire men and beautiful men, but we don't automatically kind of get that animalistic.
I would love to know if men feel the same, because I feel like this conversation could be had between two mature men and it would probably be
emotionally
similar.
Mature men definitely have to be attracted to them, let's face it, or it's not going to go very far. Okay, this is a good one I think for both of us. in this stage. By the way, like the interesting thing is we were all kind of single at the same time, like different lengths of time, but there was a point in our friendship group where we were all single at the exact same time.
Adele and I were talking about this recently, and when we were all single together, or maybe just a bit before, Adele and I were like, we were possessed. It's like
Gemini energy.
No, it's not even that. Like, I think the universe was just like, you girls better get this all out of your system.
Yeah.
Because something's coming your way. Tune in next year to find out.
Warms my heart that we've been there for each other through the different stages, and then we've all been kind of moving it in the similar trajectory. It's been really weird, but really, really cool.
Really weird, yeah.
But I think this is like a perfect time for us to answer this kind of question.
Okay.
How do you navigate friendships when in the honeymoon stages of a relationship?
Good one.
I think that because we're in our late 20s, we can answer this a lot better. If we were younger, forget about it. We would have fecked this.
Okay. So I would say it's so difficult to navigate how much you want to share about your new relationship, how much you want to, because then you start being like, you know, am I telling them too much, or like, are they getting annoyed that I'm like constantly talking about this person? So I think it's just open and honest, and also just hopefully your friend at the other end will be understanding that you're just like so excited that everything is so fun and new,
and like let them enjoy that like blissful.
Yeah, because it does. And then it depends as well. So like last year we were in, was it like lockdown 2 or something? I was really struggling. Like I just wasn't in a good headspace.
Yeah.
I know you were really excited about something. Yeah. And I feel like at one stage you were like, I don't know if I'm like telling you too much. I don't know what to do. But you had that conversation. You were like, I just want to share what I'm excited about. And then it's more of me being like, you're right. Like I'm actually just not in a good headspace. Yeah. So I'm probably being like.
But it's also like analysing. I think we had like a growing experience with that, and like analysing when the right time is to. You know, if you know your mate is having a really like crap time, like,
you're not really like, yo, I'm in love. Hard to navigate, one, how much you can talk about your new person to your friends, and then two, how much time you need to allocate and understand that like you can't just be bunking off with your man now 24/7. You do need to give time, but it's on your friends to understand that like this is you're happy, like it's a phase. So
I definitely think it's so important to treat your friendships in even higher regard than your relationships, because you don't know how long that relationship is going to last, but your friends are always going to be there, and you don't want to do that thing where you're like crawling back to them after your relationship doesn't work out. And I just think that like having the respect and the love and placing the value in your friendships that are always there versus something that's kind of like new and in the honeymoon phase. And yes, it's lovely to be wrapped up, but like even with you guys, I was kind of just like, lads, I'm dropping off the grid for like 3 or 4 weeks. You won't hear much from me, but it's communication, and it's just like it's still being active in the WhatsApp groups, and I think making coffee dates and not blowing your friends off. I also mentioned was, do you think love comes when you fully love yourself? I think so. You probably attract a type of love that is very aligned to you when you love yourself. It's much easier to weed out the time wasters when you love yourself, because you have some, like at that point you have self-respect, you know what you're not willing to tolerate, you've got your list of non-negotiables, and you're just a bit more like focused on what you want, so it's obviously easier, I feel like, to attract a really good relationship. But at the same time, like you don't always meet someone when you've got that down. No, you can meet people in your mess. That can be really good for you.
I love that. You can meet people in your mess.
And it can also be a really great relationship that can actually help heal you.
Completely.
It's kind of like, it's not like full self-love isn't like required. If you are well on your way to journey to kind of like self-love, you're just less likely to kind of attract a partner that reflects the unhealthy things that you're working through, because sometimes like attracts like.
Now, wild card, this is the truest thing I've ever felt and heard in my life. When you're giving off energy like, I want a relationship, I want to, that is honestly, is it remit? What's the word? Like it actually bounces people back off you, and that is so true.
I think it's a vibe that you can kind of, you can get off somebody, I think that tends to like push people away when you like want something too much and you're like trying to force it to happen. Whereas when you just got like trust in whatever, that things will happen and you're more relaxed, I think that is just like...
There's like two headspaces to be in. It's like, you can
want a relationship and kind of have faith that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and you can want a relationship and be like, every person you meet, you're like trying to make them your boyfriend. Yeah.
So just watch out for that.
Do you think we're meant to have one partner for a lifetime?
One sec.
Thank you.
Two people want to make it work, yes.
Yeah.
If not,
because it's a work in progress, like forever.
And like the ebbs and flows, you need to be confident with your partner that you can go through the ebbs and flows of love and sex and marriage
and the lack thereof,
and the lack thereof. And be like, you know, I'm confident that I want to be with this person through all these changes. Or, you know, sometimes if you're with someone and like you're just obsessed with the honeymoon phase and you're obsessed with that like intense attraction, because that doesn't last. So it's like, are you confident enough to stand with this person through the next stage and the next stage and the next stage?
It's that balance between finding a friend and a lover, I think. And if you get a good mix of them, I think it has a real potential.
50-50.
To go like the distance. But, you know, again, it's kind of like, I do think we have the opportunity to fall in love like as many times as we want. I don't think it's like, I think we have
love is a hormone.
Honestly, it's just
it's a feeling. Like, how can you, I don't get when people are like, you know, that's it now.
But I also think as well, like, okay, let's say you come out of a relationship and you're like, oh, that person was the one, I know they were. If you go into your future with that self-sabotaging mindset, that's all you're ever going to think. Whereas if you go, right, you've left a relationship, okay, it was a great relationship, whatever, but if you go forward thinking, I'm never going to meet someone again, you're not, because you're speaking that into existence. But if you're like, okay, I'm single, kind of sucks, I would like to be in a relationship, and I know that there is somebody out there for me, because there is so many people in the world, you will eventually find another person. And I would say just honor whatever time you have with any partner. Like, if you're learning, if you're enjoying yourself, if you're experiencing growth, like, just that's a privileged thing to experience. So I feel like now I look at love as like, whether it lasts 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, whatever, it's just like, to be in love is such a wonderful experience, and like you just need to like appreciate it for what it is. So I don't think that, like, I'm going to now be forever optimistic and not like, okay, I mean, not to put like any bad juju on it, but I'm never going to get into a mindset of like a lack mindset around love. Completely. I think I'm always just going to believe that love is out there if I'm willing to
what's happening is happening. Yeah, exactly.
How to move on from unrequited love.
So I just had a really funny point on the word unrequited to slot in. So when I was in New York,
no closure. That's my understanding of it. Like a.
So I didn't have an understanding of this word. This is the funny point. So basically, in New York, I was really homesick. I put up a photo on my Instagram of my family being like, can't wait to feel this unrequited love again. And my friends won't like
let it down.
Emerly for like
you literally meant unconditional love.
Went to bed and obviously there was 9 hours had passed. I woke up and there were so many messages like, are you for real?
We're learning.
Okay. What was the question?
I forgot it.
Unrequited.
I think it's just how to move on from unrequited love.
Very hard.
It is, isn't it?
Now, you can be... I read this recently.
Everyone experiences it.
You can be a nice person and still tell someone to F off. So this is what I think is a good advice there. You can... Unrequited love, fair. You loved... Did you actually love them if it wasn't love back? This is a kind of a grey area.
This is the thing, because like sometimes you don't actually, it's not something that's pursued long enough to know if it really was like love or lust or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, like, the meaning is just like something you didn't get to see through in the way you wanted to.
Leave it, park it.
And like it's one of those things, you just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Accept that it's unrequited, accept that you may never get like closure on it.
But you will. Closure does happen in the weirdest ways.
You won't get the peace from closure.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a little bit, like I've experienced some of that. It definitely made me feel better. But like, actually,
I think peace comes from, in that situation, peace comes from meeting someone else.
Oh yeah, but also just like you give it to yourself, whether you meet someone else or not. Like, you have the power to give yourself, like, park it up forgive the situation and like give yourself the peace, like as hard as it might be, but like your brain, you have the power to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe even like creating a closure situation with yourself without that person actually being there. That ritual with yourself where you sit down with a journal and you write down all the things you would have wanted to say to that person.
This is a great point, yeah.
And then I don't know, throw it in the fire or something.
Yeah.
Like just do whatever feels like right to you.
You want to, I really believe in like if you want to communicate something to this person, do it. Send a message with no question in it and no reason for them to text back. Tell them how you feel.
Sometimes
get it out.
Like I have done that in the past and it actually went down quite well. These 2 questions are from the same person and then she backs it up with another question. So like you can totally get in her headspace, which I love. First of all, she says, how to feel confident getting back into the sex game after a COVID dry spell. And then right in after, she's like, serious energy connection with someone I've known for a couple of years, but they got out of a long-term relationship. Clear mutual interest, but should I give them space to heal?
No.
First.
No. Get on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how to find, oh my god, I love this. So how to find your sexual thing after a COVID dry spell. To make it happen, action it.
I think as well, I think men get over things
Get
faster.
your masculine energy into this. Action this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, like if there's mutual interest there that you've picked up on, it more than likely means that he's ready. But I will say, and this is something that played a part in, so weird saying my relationship or like having
I know, I'm not even
so
going to say
strange.
it. I'm not saying it.
But like obviously I did not have a huge space of time. Like I have more time than a lot of people think because
I didn't
speak on it for a long time out of respect for like my ex-partner and like I was going through the healing process a lot earlier than a lot of people think, you know. But like my current lovely partner was always very vocal in that if I needed space, if I needed to just drop off for a little bit and not, because we got into conversation pretty fast and it was just kind of this like, we're like,
snowball.
it just, it was kind of like of communication, just very, and like just him, I never really needed to take that space, but the fact that he even said like, look, if you ever need just like, not be as intense or not talk every day, or you just like want some time to like be with your thoughts and like heal, or if you're getting freaked out about your feelings or whatever, like just communicate it to me and I think that's like the same thing. I think if you do get into something and it starts really well and you hop on it, both of you are like into it, but then you know sometimes your feelings can bounce back later and it can feel like you're moving very fast, so just like just throw that little like, you know what,
need a bit of
I understand that you've just come out of a relationship. If you ever need room to breathe
on me.
No.
Breathe on my neck.
No.
Just
but
breathe
like,
on my neck.
you know, this is something I've been really good at the last year that I've tried to pass on to you as well, is not getting too into your head about things that aren't actually
if there was a drug to help that.
Yeah, because like
I'd be on it.
And I think Roz actually had a really good quote about this. Is like, you worry about something that hasn't happened.
Oh,
you're worried about it twice, which is so good.
Yeah, but I'm like,
I found that any of the times I was getting a little bit freaked out, it was more, or like second guessing my feelings, which I should never do because I am a very black and white person when it comes to things I want and don't want. Very strong intuition. But there was times obviously where I second guessed, like, was I jumping into something? You know, should I take more time? But I just felt like everything that I was worried about was more from an outsider's, what I thought people might think, or societal ideas around kind of not having enough space, or like not having 2 years after like a long-term relationship.
This is really interesting because I don't have this trait. This is something about me. I don't go back to the confidence point. I don't care what other people think.
I'm so self-aware. I always look at it about how other people will look at it, and even when I was telling you guys about, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm fucking crazy, and you did. But like time, like I said, always tells, and I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with being crazy. If it's crazy and it all actually is worth it, it'll be worth it, and it was worth it. But I definitely am someone who thinks about how I'm perceived.
Okay.
I think
don't.
nicely warmed up I think we should move into the sexy questions.
Go on, yeah.
What makes you feel sexy?
Okay, what makes me feel sexy?
What makes you feel sexy?
What makes me feel sexy is this. When I get up in the morning, no matter how I'm feeling, something that changes my mood is getting dressed. Getting dressed, putting on my makeup, you know, making myself feel and look good, what I think I look good in.
For yourself.
For myself. Yeah. And then what else also makes me feel sexy is like kissing for
your hand.
So long. Kissing for so long.
Okay.
And just like being really intimate.
Okay.
That makes me feel so hot.
Okay, fair. That's a lovely one. So you've got like one that you did for yourself and one that you do with someone else. A shared experience that makes you feel sexy. Love that.
What makes you feel sexy?
What makes me feel sexy?
Horoscopes.
I think what makes me feel sexy is when I'm having like, okay, big air sign energy, having like a conversation where the person is like really into what I'm talking about.
Oh, nice.
So like I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm more of like a mental sexiness.
Stimulated mentally.
Mental stimulation, really good conversation, knowing that the other person is really enjoying what I have to bring to the conversation.
Yeah, because your eyes sparkle when that happens.
Very just like, I don't know, a really great pair of jeans for me makes me feel like
and how could
sexy.
I forget my Levi's 501s or my rib cage.
We wear them all the time.
I'm not wearing them today, but yeah.
Oh my god, huge one.
I know.
Great underwear. Things you wish you would have told yourself about sex and intimacy when you were younger.
Open with the person you're having sex with about what you like, what you don't like. You know, if you're into a certain thing you think you're into, explore it. Because sometimes, like, you can have sex with someone and you can feel really, like, deflated after it. And I've actually associated that with not actually telling the person what you like, even if it is a one night stand.
100%.
Like, don't put all the power in them to be like, I'm just gonna have sex this way because da.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we feel like that. Just be open with what you want to do and how you want to do it.
It took me a long time to actually even understand what intimacy was, and that intimacy and sex are not the same thing.
No.
I think people a lot like use the word intimate a lot for the word sex, and they're not the same. They're not the same at all.
Yeah.
I love this one, and there was a lot around kind of like rephrased, the same question rephrased a lot of different ways, but thoughts on shame around females, body count / being sexually liberated.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither.
No. Why does that matter?
Yeah, I think that like, I feel so bad for girls that feel like the guilt around.
But like, you know, like some people have a very high sex drive and like
or just want to experience a lot of different people.
Completely, but like that goes back to having a high sex drive and like wanting to actually have sex a lot. And like, why should it matter? You know, why should a female body count matter?
Like, who's asking?
I just hate the whole slut culture. I hate it.
Yeah, and like a lot of like systemic religious stuff, but I think when it comes to just like really emotionally immature men that would even say that kind of stuff, first of all, like trash. Like anyone that speaks to you makes you feel guilt like that is just like weird, and it's just like being a pure lad.
It's a red flag.
It's like a lad culture thing, but it's also just a way for them to like assert their dominance and make you feel like you're dirt or something to make themselves feel better.
Be safe. Make sure you're happy. You're doing what you want to do.
Learn as much as you possibly can.
Explore what you want.
Experience people.
Yeah.
Lizzie and Lindsay actually like answer this in their podcast. If you like the vibe of this, by the way, I would totally recommend Things You Can't Ask Your Mom.
Yeah, it's great.
We love that podcast. Hey gals, if you happen to be watching this. But I know they answered a similar question.
Hey gals.
Hey gals.
Hey gals.
Hey gals. Which is a number of dates you think you should go on before having sex?
Another question that wrecks my head.
Which totally goes back to the last one, is if you want to have sex with someone, have sex with them.
Yeah.
If a man doesn't respect you on the first date, he's not going to respect you on the 6th date or 2 months in. Or
answer this question because I don't get it. Like, whatever
it feels right to you. Like,
yeah. You know, I will say there is, like, if you really, like, if you meet someone on a date and you're like, damn, the chemistry is there. You know, there is this thing of like, once you holding back is a power as well. Yeah. So actually, I do have something to say. Hold back, suss it out a bit more. Don't just give it up like just think about it and then see what happens.
I think if you really like a guy and you want to suss them out a bit more, then just do what feels right and natural to you. I know I'm probably someone who would just like go for it if I'm feeling it, but like at the same time, that's maybe because if I was to, I don't put any expectations on it. If you want to sleep with someone on the first date, I would recommend like only do it if you feel like you can go into it without placing this expectation of like seeing them again after, because if you are disappointed, it's going to really fucking hurt.
Yeah, if it's like suss it out, if it's going to cause you more pain than pleasure,
but if you can go, like I've had situations where I can just go in and like have absolutely no emotional attachment whatsoever, do you know, and it's like I gave them none of my emotional energy, but I've also learned that I don't actually enjoy doing that.
Okay,
like I don't really get much out of the experience without like the more emotional side to it. So just do what feels right to you. If you want to tear somebody's clothes off, just do it. If you feel like your mental health will be not too shagged afterwards. Yeah. Oh, I need to get comfortable. You're gonna like literally break your furniture down there.
Wait, when are you 30? Don't say it's this October.
I'm not 30 this October.
Oh my god, you're 3.
Don't be putting
I'm 26 this November.
Oh yeah, you were,
I am.
For the 3rd year in a row. We just paused for a momentary battery break, and also because I had to tie my hair back. It's very annoying. Lots of questions around like worded in similar ways, but I'm going to read out kind of 3 examples. Advice for those of us more experienced than our partner, without making them feel bad. So I guess suggesting, you know, how to make your partner better. Is that coming from a girl or a guy? That's coming from a girl.
Nice.
I know they're all actually mostly from girls. My boyfriend isn't pleasing me in bed. What should I do? And also, communicating sexual needs to a guy you're just talking to. The situation isn't bad by any means. It could just be improved, but I don't know how to. So kind of all along the lines of like communication is just like the main
Will I repeat what I said?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a funny one. You need to go at this with kind of care, because you don't want to emasculate your partner, which can kind of, if you do that, it can set them back defensive, and then they can just be hurt.
Or they can just feel inadequate, which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world. Sometimes men need to be knocked back
a peg, down a peg.
Or 10.
You down. But you need to just, you know, like suss it out, see what you want. Don't just come at somebody with like, you're bad at this and this. You need to like maybe just come at it in a way that it's like, I love this, can we try this more? Put it into your conversations and, you know, like try and get the heat going in other ways. And then like I feel like if you totally relax someone, and if you're really relaxed around each other, and what did we say earlier? It's about...
Well, I think we were saying as well, when you're really into each other, it's going to be explorative. Explorative. I feel like women are so much more complicated, and genuinely the only way is just to communicate it, and you shouldn't be embarrassed about it. You can show somebody what you like without using words. That would
just
be my
have
advice.
Caution towards it, because you could, you know, you don't want to rock the boat too much and scare someone.
Yeah, and you also don't want to get someone too in their head about it either, because then they'll just like be overthinking it.
Yeah, I think sex ed needs to be way more prevalent in school.
I don't remember anything.
Nothing. All we learned was not even the basics, like this is what you do.
Probably just showed us a picture of how to put a condom on. That was like
it wrecks my head. God help my children are in school, because I'm going to be like, can I just do the sex ed class, please? Thank you. Please or post.
No, that's my bad.
No, you're supposed to look at the camera or look at the phone.
Look at the phone.
Yeah.
That's my shit size.
It's not. What are you on about? You absolute.
No, I'm absolutely not.
Okay, sorry.
Do you deal with UTIs ever? I get chronically after sex.
Interesting.
Generally, UTIs are caused by bacteria. So
isn't it pee after sex? Isn't that the kind of rule of thumb?
Pee. So yeah, there's like a couple of things.
There's section, i.e. condoms.
This is just, I don't know if this is scientific or whatever, but like clean hands, clean D.
Oh yeah, okay.
Pee after sex would be like my tips.
Like nobody knows what causes it, I don't think.
No, it's bacteria.
Oh, sorry.
It's literally just explained. Science, like. I think everyone goes through like spurts of like being like, why am I getting UTIs?
What does
all the time?
work really well is a pint of water with a spoon of baking soda. Or is it bread soda or baking soda?
As you know, staying hydrated is another big tip.
Completely alkalizes the issue within, I would say, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're...
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
And it sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's sick. Just down it.
Would you continue to hook up with someone after discovering you don't vibe with their horoscope? Okay, I'm obviously putting this in as
this is touchy
a bit
for
of
me now.
satire.
So funny, when I was on my first date with my boyfriend. Oh my god, I said it! He was like, "You're not into star signs, are you?" I don't know.
Are you?
And I have True Scorpio tattooed here, and I was just like this. No. No.
That bullshit.
And then as the
Absolutely
drinks
not.
went on, I was like, so anyways,
when were you born? What time?
what time were you
hospital?
born? It's about their entire chart, I think.
Everyone has most of the signs in their full chart. It's
Yeah,
not just
so-
like the sun,
but-
moon,
And don't focus
ascendant.
on like, oh, that person is a Leo and I'm a bloody, and I'm a Scorpio.
It's never
not
going to
gonna
work, or it's going to be a perfect match. Like that's honestly.
You need to park that.
Yeah, it comes down to the individual at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
There's
Is
something
it
else going.
funny to talk about it? Yeah.
It is,
Is it
yeah.
funny to draw comparisons? Yes. It's especially if like things don't work out. You're like, oh, it was never going to work.
They
To be
really
fair,
do matter.
my man is a Libra. I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
We've literally got the same chart. We're born like a week apart, and it's actually very compatible.
Yeah.
So there might be something to it, but it definitely shouldn't dictate.
No. Rubik's
It's
It's like doing the
supposed-
paper thing.
yeah.
You know, like,
Look.
I am, he is.
Does he love me? Love me not. Love me? Love me not. Like anything that
It's
makes
just goes
you...
getting a dandelion and being like,
Anything that makes you get too into your head, overthinking, is not healthy.
No.
So like, if it's fun and the horoscopes are making you excited, then by all means enjoy. Yeah, I think that was a fun one to end on. I hope you enjoyed our chat. It was really good to finally get this
Yeah.
one down. I feel
This
like
was
I've been
nice.
planning this since I got back. I knew I was gonna
yeah,
have this kind
it
of
was
chat
a great
with you.
one. And I love speaking. Like, I can't wait for the comments.
Yes. I'm sure both of us will be replying to comments.
Yeah.
And maybe
We'll do
we'll
shift
do
work.
another one in the future if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I love having these little vlogcasty conversational chats.
Me too.
And I hope that you popped it on in the background while you were working or doing your bits and just felt like you had some kind of sisterly advice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're all kind
Good
of...
friends.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow Ruth on Instagram as well as myself. I'll leave our links in the description below and on the screen. But yeah,
Have a good day.
for
Bye.
watching. Bye. Mwah.